Nate is a rambunctious child. He has the ability to focus, but that ability to focus is often hard to notice because he is easily distracted by other things that seem to want his attention. And my experience with martial arts training in the military led me to believe that martial arts training generally would be good for him to develop the ability to, not so much to focus, but to be able to choose where he puts his focus. And we have really been rewarded by the experience at Keith Hafner's. We have learned, not only Nate as a student and then later on myself as a student, we have learned so much about the importance of the choices we make, and not merely being able to focus, but thinking more clearly about why to focus at the studio. All of the instructors, whether they were senior instructors formally recognized, or whether it was just the kids standing next to him who were 8, 9, 10 years old, everybody already seemed invested in his success. And coming from the military, that meant something to me. That sign right off the bat, we are here to get you through this, because everybody who says they want to do this will. Initially, what he was gaining was a far more physical experience, learning to control himself physically, to demonstrate physical restraint, physical self-awareness. Over time, that has changed to more of a social and relational awareness. He understands the centrality of forms and physical movement to the martial arts, but both of us, I think, have learned a lot about how those forms become the basis for relationships with other people. They become a means of expressing who you are, and a way of talking about who you would like to be. That's the major change. I would say, though, that the idea of where you put your focus, what you want to focus on, is still the key to what both of us get out of the experience of being a student at Keith Hafner's. Nate especially, it gives him a chance to think about what he values, and it gives him a reason to think about what he values. Even at the age of 8, it may be odd to think about an 8-year-old having values. They are still very much a reflection of the world around them. But I don't think you can be in such a focused environment for so long without starting to develop the independent ability to assess who you want to be. There are multiple paths to that kind of responsibility, but I think that both of us have been richly rewarded by investing ourselves in this particular path. I know that it has, for my part, also brought a higher degree of clarity and focus to what I'm doing. It has interconnected with my dissertation work in surprising ways, as I realize some of the relational similarities of martial arts across many different martial disciplines. And it's given me a reason to think about good teaching. I see it happen in every class. I see it happen every time we go into the studio. I see things in the teachers and teaching that just at a very deep level make me say, this is what teaching looks like. This is what I want teaching to look like. This is what I want my own teaching to look like, is this degree of care and connection with the students. I enlisted in the U.S. Army shortly after 9/11. I served 4 years as a soldier in military intelligence and deployed to Iraq once. At the end of my initial 4 years in the Army, I decided that my commitment to my fellow soldiers was such that I wanted to become an officer, and I wanted to move to a place where I could commit to the soldiers who needed the most commitment. So I switched to the infantry. And I served another 5 years as an infantry officer, did 2 more tours in Iraq, and left the Army at the end of 2010 to become a teacher. I see a high degree of transfer of skills and transfer of values from what I was like as an infantry officer to what I am like as a teacher.